The insult. In 10,000 years of galactic history, no one had ever walked away from a Valoran Princess until today. The space station next to Cespra was the largest structure ever built. It floated in the darkness between 3 galaxies. Ships from over 200 different worlds came here every day. Kings, queens, emperors, and presidents all walked its golden halls. Today was special. Today was the Grand Summit. Every powerful species in the known universe had sent their leaders. And for the first time ever, humans were invited. Commander Marcus Cole stood near the entrance of the Great Hall. He was 35 years old. His body was strong from years of military training. His eyes were calm, but sharp. He had fought in wars on Earth. He had killed enemies with his bare hands. But now he wore a simple black suit instead of armor. His job was not to fight. His job was to make friends. Earth needed friends. Humans had only been in space for 200 years. They were like children compared to these ancient civilizations. Some of these empires had existed for millions of years. "Remember," said Admiral Chen, through the tiny device in Marcus's ear, "we cannot afford to make enemies. Be polite. Be patient. No matter what happens." "Understood," Marcus replied quietly. The Great Hall was beautiful. Crystal lights hung from the ceiling. The floor was made of white stone that glowed softly. Thousands of aliens filled the room. Some looked almost human. Others had 6 arms or 3 heads. Some floated in the air. Some had no bodies at all, just clouds of light. Marcus had studied all of them. He knew their names, their cultures, their histories. He was ready. Then the main doors opened. Everyone stopped talking. Every eye turned to look. The Valorans had arrived. They were the most powerful empire in the galaxy. They had ruled for 10,000 years. Their technology was beyond anything humans could imagine. Their fleet could destroy entire solar systems, and they were beautiful. Their skin was pale blue and seemed to glow like moonlight. Their eyes were large and silver. They moved with perfect grace, like dancers instead of walkers. They wore clothes made of materials that shifted and changed colors. At the front walked Princess Zara Valanthe. She was only 19 years old, but she was the daughter of the Valoran Emperor. Her father was sick, so she represented the entire empire today. She wore a dress that looked like liquid silver. Her hair was white and flowed behind her like a river of light. A small crown of crystals sat on her head. She was beautiful, but her eyes were cold. Marcus watched as she greeted other leaders. She barely looked at them. Her smile was fake. She spoke to ancient kings like they were servants. She acted like she owned the universe. Then her eyes found Marcus. She walked toward him. The crowd parted to let her through. Everyone wanted to see what would happen. The ancient empire meeting the youngest species in space. Marcus stood straight. He kept his face calm. Princess Zara stopped in front of him. She looked him up and down slowly. Her nose wrinkled like she smelled something bad. "So," she said loudly, "this is a human." Her voice was clear and sharp. Everyone in the hall could hear her. "Commander Marcus Cole," he said politely. He extended his hand. "It is an honor to meet you, Your Highness." She did not take his hand. Instead, she laughed. It was not a kind laugh. "An honor?" She turned to her attendants. "Did you hear that? The monkey thinks it is an honor to meet me." The hall went silent. "Your species has been in space for what? 200 years?" She circled around him like a predator. "We have traveled the stars for 10,000 years. You are not diplomats. You are animals who learn to wear clothes." "Stars and 10. Marcus kept his hand extended. His face showed nothing. "You smell like violence," she continued. "Your people fight wars over pieces of dirt. You kill each other over imaginary lines on maps. You are primitive, stupid, worthless." She stepped very close to his face. "You do not belong here. Go back to your little planet and stay there. The galaxy does not want you." The silence was complete. No one breathed. Everyone waited to see what the human would do. Would he argue? Would he beg? Would he get angry? Marcus Cole slowly lowered his hand. He looked at Princess Zara for a long moment. His eyes were calm, unreadable. Then he did something no one expected. He turned around, and he walked away. Not a single word, not a single sound. He simply walked to the door and left. Princess Zara laughed behind him. "Look, the monkey runs away." Her attendants laughed with her. But the other aliens did not laugh. They watched the human leave with something strange in their eyes, something that looked almost like respect. Princess Zara did not notice. She was too busy enjoying her victory. She had no idea that her laughter would cost her everything. The silence that echoed. The galaxy had seen wars that destroyed planets, but it had never seen anything as terrifying as a human silence. 3 hours after Marcus Cole walked out of the Great Hall, every human in the galaxy disappeared. Not dead, not hiding, just gone. Human diplomats left their embassies without a word. Human traders closed their shops and flew away. Human doctors packed their equipment and vanished into space. Human engineers stopped their work and walked out. No explanation. No warning. No goodbye. Just silence. Princess Zara heard the news while eating dinner in her royal ship. She laughed so hard that wine spilled on her silver dress. Good, she said. The animals finally understand their place. They are running home with their tails between their legs. Her advisors did not laugh. They looked at each other with worried eyes. Your Highness, said Chief Advisor Morith. He was old and wise. He had served her father for 300 years. This is strange. Humans do not run. In 200 years, they have never run from anything. Then this is a first, Zara said. Maybe I taught them something today. She returned to her meal. She did not notice the fear growing in Morith's eyes. On Earth, the leaders of humanity gathered in a secret room deep underground. Admiral Chen stood before them. His face was hard like stone. Operation Silent Thunder is now active, he said. All human assets have been recalled. All communication with alien species has stopped. All trade agreements are frozen. For how long? Asked the President of Earth. Admiral Chen looked at the screen. It showed Marcus Cole sitting alone in a small room. His eyes were closed. His hands were folded. Until Commander Cole decides to speak again, Chen said. He was our voice to the galaxy. They silenced him. Now we silence ourselves. The President nodded slowly. And the Valorans? Do they know what they have done? Not yet, Chen said. A small smile crossed his face. But they will. Very soon. The first week passed. Princess Zara noticed nothing. She attended parties. She bought expensive things. She insulted other species for fun. Life was good. But across the galaxy things were changing. On the planet Nixar Arba, a hospital ran out of medicine. Human doctors had been providing special treatments for a rare disease. Now the medicine was gone. People started dying. On the trading world of Kos, markets crashed. Humans had been buying millions of tons of goods every month. Now they bought nothing. Thousands of merchants lost everything. On the frozen moon of Telrath, a power station failed. Human engineers had been maintaining the reactor. Without them, 2 million aliens faced a cold death. And everywhere, the same question was asked. Where are the humans? Why won't they answer? No one knew. The humans said nothing. The second week passed. Princess Zara finally noticed something was wrong. Why are these reports on my desk? She demanded. Border, security failures, medical shortages? Who cares? Advisor Morith spoke carefully. Your Highness, these problems are connected. Human engineers were maintaining 30% of our border defense systems. Human scientists were providing medicine for your father's illness. Human. Stop. Zara raised her hand. Are you telling me that our great empire depends on those primitives? Morith lowered his eyes. Your father believed in quiet alliances. Humans are young, but they are clever. They have skills that even we do not possess. Your father made secret agreements with them. They helped us. We helped them. Zara felt her blood turn cold. My father is sick. He needs human medicine. Yes, Your Highness. Without it, he has perhaps 60 days to live. Then contact the humans. Order them to send more medicine. Morith shook his head sadly. We have tried. Every channel, every frequency, every method. The humans do not answer. They do not even read our messages. Impossible. Zara stood up. We are the Valoran Empire. No one ignores us. The humans are ignoring us, Your Highness. They are ignoring everyone. Zara felt something she had never felt before. Fear. The third week passed. The galaxy was in chaos. 12 planets reported emergencies directly connected to human withdrawal. Stock markets across 3 galaxies collapsed. Ships sat in ports because no one knew the trade routes that human navigators had mapped. And still, the humans said nothing. Other alien species started to whisper. Did you see what happened at the summit? The princess insulted their ambassador. He just walked away. No anger. No threats. Just silence. And now the whole species is silent. Terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. Princess Zara heard these whispers. They made her angry. They are weak, she shouted at her council. They are hiding because they are afraid of us. But old advisor Morith shook his head. No, Your Highness. A species that runs away does not stay silent. They beg, they cry, they make excuses. He looked out the window at the stars. The humans are not afraid, they are waiting. Waiting for what? Morith turned to face her. His eyes were heavy with worry. For us to understand what we have lost. Day 30 arrived. Princess Zara was in her throne room when the alarm started. Red lights flashed everywhere. Soldiers ran through the corridors. Advisors rushed in with terror on their faces. What is happening? Zara demanded. Morith's voice was barely a whisper. The Kethra horde. They have crossed our border. They are attacking our outer worlds. Zara's face went white. The Kethra were monsters, ancient enemies. They destroyed everything they touched. Activate our defense systems. Call our fleet. We cannot, Your Highness. Morith's hands were shaking. The border defense systems are failing. Human engineers maintained them. Human codes activated them. Without the humans. He did not finish. He did not need to. That night, the first Valoran colony, world burned. And for the first time in her life, Princess Zara Valanti did not laugh. The price of pride. The Valorans had ruled for Ashrat Alaf years because they had no enemies strong enough to challenge them. They had forgotten that the most dangerous enemy is one you create yourself. Fire rained from the sky on the colony world of Valith Prime. Kethra warships covered the stars like a swarm of black insects. They were ugly, brutal, built only to destroy. Their weapons tore through buildings like paper. Their soldiers killed everything that moved. Princess Zara watched the destruction on her screen. Her hands were shaking. Her silver eyes were wide with horror. "How many dead?" she whispered. 4 million on Valith Prime, Morith answered. His voice was tired, old, broken. 6 million on Taurus Station. 2 million on the mining colonies. The Kethra are moving fast. They will reach our core worlds in 12 days. Our fleet. Send our fleet. Our fleet is scattered, Your Highness. The navigation systems are failing. Human programmers wrote the core codes. Without updates, the systems are crashing one by one. Zara slammed her fist on the table. We are the greatest empire in the galaxy. How can we depend so much on those? She stopped. She could not say the words anymore. The words she had spoken at the summit. The words that had started all of this. Morith looked at her with sad eyes. Your father understood something important. Power is not just about weapons and ships. Power is about connections, relationships, trust. He paused. The humans trusted us, and we spat on that trust. I spat on it, Zara said quietly. I did this. Morith did not disagree. The Emperor's bedroom was dark and cold. Zara walked slowly to her father's bed. He lay under thin sheets, his once powerful body now weak and small. His blue skin had turned gray. His breathing was shallow. Father, she whispered. His eyes opened slowly. They were still sharp, still intelligent, but filled with pain. Zara. His voice was like dry leaves. I heard what you did. At the summit, tears formed in her eyes. Father, you insulted them, he coughed. Blood appeared on his lips. The humans, the only species that treated us as friends, not as masters to fear. I did not know. You did not ask. His words cut like knives. You saw their young civilization and thought they were weak. You were foolish. Youth is not weakness. It is potential. He grabbed her hand with surprising strength. The humans pulled themselves from mud to stars in 10,000 years. We took 1 million years to do the same. His eyes burned into hers. They are not primitive, daughter. They are fast. And now they are angry. They are silent, father. They say nothing. The Emperor laughed. It turned into a painful cough. That is what makes them terrifying. A species that screams, you can negotiate with. A species that begs, you can control. He pulled her closer. But a species that goes silent, they are not waiting to talk. They are waiting to act. What do I do, father? How do I fix this? The Emperor closed his eyes. His strength was fading. You cannot fix pride with more pride. You must break before you can be rebuilt. His hand went limp. The machines around him beeped warnings. Doctors rushed in. Zara was pushed aside. She stood in the corner, watching her father fight for his life, watching her empire crumble. And somewhere in the galaxy, a human sat in silence, waiting. Day 35. Zara called an emergency meeting with other galactic leaders. She needed allies. She needed help against the Kethra. The holographic images of 12 emperors and queens appeared before her. Please, Zara said. She had never said that word before. The Kethra are destroying my worlds. I need your fleets, your soldiers, your help. Silence. Then the Emperor of the Nexari spoke. He was ancient, with green skin and 4 eyes. You come to us for help? You, who called the humans, monkeys and animals. That was a mistake. That was truth, interrupted the Queen of Tesseria. Her voice was ice. The truth of who you are. Arrogant. Cruel. You insulted a peaceful ambassador in front of the entire galaxy. The humans are primitive. The humans saved my daughter's life. The Queen snapped. Their doctors cured a disease our medicine could not touch. They asked for nothing in return. Nothing. Another leader spoke. And another. Each one had a story. Humans who helped. Humans who gave. Humans who asked for nothing but friendship. And Zara had called them animals. We will not help you, the Nexari Emperor said finally. Not because we love the Kethra, but because the humans taught us something important at that summit. What? Zara demanded. What did they teach you? Dignity. The Emperor's 4 eyes stared at her. That man stood before your insults and said nothing. He did not beg. He did not fight. He simply left. And in that moment, he showed more power than your entire empire. The holograms disappeared one by one. Zara was alone. Completely alone. Day 40. The Kethra had taken 15 worlds. The Emperor had 3 days to live. The fleet was in chaos. The people were losing hope. Zara sat in her dark throne room. No crown. No fancy dress. Just a 19-year-old girl who had destroyed everything. Morith entered quietly. Your Highness. There is only one option left. What? You must go to Earth. You must face the human yourself. You must beg. Zara looked up. Her eyes were red from crying. And if he refuses to see me? Morith's voice was heavy with truth. Then our empire dies, and history will remember that it was killed by a single insult. Zara stood slowly. She looked out the window at the burning stars. Tomorrow, she would do something no Valoran royal had done in 10,000 years. She would kneel before another species and pray that the silent human would finally speak. The walk of shame. For Ashrat Alaf years, Valoran royalty had never bowed to anyone. Tonight, a Wahid Tisat-year-old princess would walk barefoot through the snow to knock on a human's door. The Valoran royal ship landed on Earth at midnight. No ceremony. No welcome party. No flags or music. Just a cold wind and falling snow. Princess Zara stepped out alone. She had left her guards on the ship. She had left her crown behind. She wore simple white clothes. Her feet were bare. Old Morith had told her about human customs. In ancient times, those who sought forgiveness walked without shoes. It showed humility. It showed pain. The snow was freezing. It burned her feet like fire. But Zara did not stop. She deserved this pain. Her people were dying because of her pride. She walked toward the small building in the distance. It was not a palace, not a government office, just a simple house on a hill. Marcus Cole's home. Inside the house, Admiral Chen watched the princess through the window. She actually came, he said quietly. Barefoot in the snow. I did not expect that. Marcus sat in a chair by the fire. His eyes were closed. He had not spoken in 47 days. He had not needed to. His silence had said everything. She has been walking for 20 minutes, Chen continued. Her feet are bleeding. Should I let her in? Marcus did not answer. Chen understood. Not yet. Zara reached the door. Her feet left red marks in the white snow. Tears were frozen on her cheeks, but she did not knock. She waited. 1 hour passed. The cold cut through her thin clothes. Her body shook violently. Still, she waited. 2 hours. She fell to her knees. The snow soaked through to her skin. Still, she waited. 3 hours. Her lips turned blue. Her fingers could not move. A human guard came outside and offered her a blanket. She refused. She did not deserve comfort. 4 hours. 5 hours. 6 hours. The same amount of time humans had waited at the summit. The same amount of time she had made them stand while she laughed with other aliens. Now she understood how it felt. Finally, the door opened. Admiral Chen stood there. His face showed nothing. Commander Cole will see you now. Zara could not stand. Her legs were frozen. 2 human soldiers had to carry her inside. They placed her in a chair by the fire. The warmth was painful. Her body screamed as feeling returned to her hands and feet, but she did not care about the pain. She only cared about the man sitting across from her. Marcus Cole looked exactly the same as that day at the summit. Calm. Quiet. Unreadable. He said, nothing. Zara opened her mouth to speak, then stopped. What could she say? What words could fix what she had broken? She started, her voice cracked. I came to negotiate. My empire needs. She stopped again. That was wrong. That was her old self talking. The arrogant princess who thought everything could be bought or demanded. Marcus just watched her. His silence was heavier than any words. I came to. She tried again. If you help us, we can offer. No. Still wrong. Marcus's eyes did not change. But somehow, Zara felt him seeing through her. Seeing every lie, every excuse, every bit of pride she still carried. The fire crackled. The clock ticked. The silence stretched. And something inside Zara finally broke. Not her pride. Something deeper. The wall she had built around her heart since childhood. The armor that told her she was better than everyone else. The lies she had believed about her own importance. It all shattered. Tears poured down her face. Real tears, not princess tears for show. The tears of a girl who had finally seen the truth about herself. She fell from the chair to her knees. Her forehead touched the floor at Marcus's feet. I am sorry. 3 words. The first true words she had spoken in her entire life. I am sorry, not because my empire is burning, Not because my father is dying. Not because I need your help. She looked up at him. Her silver eyes were rivers of pain. I'm sorry because I was wrong. I was cruel. I was evil. I looked at you and saw an animal because I was afraid. Afraid that your people would become greater than mine. Afraid that your light would make my darkness visible. She grabbed his hand. He did not pull away. You are not the primitive one. I am. 10,000 years. And my people never learned what your species knows from birth. Her voice broke completely. That true strength is not in crowns or ships or weapons. It is in the dignity of a man who walks away from insults without losing himself. The room was completely silent. Marcus Cole looked at the broken princess at his feet. The girl who had humiliated him before the entire galaxy. The child who had called his people animals. Slowly, he opened his mouth. After 47 days of silence, he spoke. 2 words. Just 2 words. And those 2 words made Princess Zara cry harder than she had ever cried in her life. The words worth waiting for. 47 days of silence. 2 words, and the galaxy would never be the same again. Marcus Cole looked at the broken princess kneeling at his feet. Snow was melting from her hair. Blood was drying on her frozen feet. Tears were falling from her silver eyes. She had walked through ice and pain to reach him. She had waited 6 hours in the freezing cold. She had stripped away her pride, her crown, her armor. And now, she waited for his judgment. Marcus opened his mouth. His voice was rough. From 47 days of silence, he spoke 2 words. Stand up. Zara's crying stopped. She looked at him with confusion. What? Stand up. Marcus rose from his chair. He reached down and took her hands. Gently, he pulled her to her feet. A true apology is not given on your knees. It is given standing tall. Eye to eye. Equal to equal. Zara stood before him. Shaking. Unsure. You hurt me, Marcus said quietly. You hurt my people. You called us animals in front of the entire galaxy. I know. I am not finished. Zara closed her mouth. Marcus continued. For 47 days, I have sat in silence. Do you know why? She shook her head. Not for revenge. Not to watch your empire burn. Not to make you suffer. He looked into her eyes. I was waiting for you. For me? For the real you. Not the princess with the crown. Not the arrogant child who insulted strangers to feel powerful. I was waiting for the person hiding underneath all that armor. He touched her face gently. His thumb wiped away a tear. And tonight, I finally met her. 1 hour later, a human fleet launched from Earth. 300 ships. The largest force humanity had ever assembled. They moved through space like silver arrows. But they did not move alone. Word had spread across the galaxy. The human spoke. The human forgave. The human was sending help. And suddenly, every species wanted to join. Nixari warships appeared. Tessarian cruisers followed. Even the proud Kelmathi, who had not fought a war in 2,000 years, sent their ancient battleships. A fleet of 12 species, united by the actions of one silent man. Princess Zara stood on the bridge of the human flagship. She watched the allied fleet grow larger and larger. Why? She asked Marcus. Why are they all helping? I insulted humans, not them. Marcus smiled slightly. You still do not understand, do you? Understand what? When you insulted me, you did not just hurt humans. You showed the galaxy who you were. Cruel, arrogant, dangerous. He pointed at the growing fleet. When I walked away in silence, I showed them who we were. Patient, dignified, strong. He turned to face her. Every species out there was watching. They saw a choice between 2 futures. A galaxy led by pride and cruelty, or a galaxy led by respect and patience. His eyes were warm. They chose respect. They chose us. They chose hope. Zara felt something bloom in her chest, something she had never felt before. Pride, real pride, not in herself, but in standing next to this human. The battle against the Kethra lasted 3 days. It was brutal. Ships explode like stars. Soldiers fought in the darkness of space. Worlds hung in the balance. But the Kethra had made a terrible mistake. They had attacked when they thought the galaxy was divided. They had not expected unity. They had not expected humans. Human soldiers fought like demons. Human pilots flew like ghosts. Human commanders thought 10 steps ahead. And leading them all was Marcus Cole. He did not scream orders. He did not give dramatic speeches. He simply pointed at the enemy and said one word, forward, and the galaxy followed. On the 3rd day, the Kethra fleet was destroyed. Their home world surrendered. The war was over. And across the stars, every species whispered the same thing. The humans saved us. The silent ones saved us all. 1 week later, the Valoran Emperor opened his eyes. Human doctors had worked day and night. Human medicine had done what 10,000 years of Valoran science could not. The Emperor would live. Zara sat beside his bed, holding his hand. Father. The Emperor smiled weakly. I heard what you did, walking barefoot in the snow. Kneeling before the human. I had to. I broke everything. I needed to fix it. No. The Emperor squeezed her hand. You did not fix it. You transformed it. You turned our greatest shame into our greatest alliance. He looked toward the window, where Marcus stood watching the stars. That man could have let us burn. He could have taken revenge. Instead, he forgave. He helped. He led. The Emperor's voice was filled with wonder. In 10,000 years, I have never seen such strength. Neither have I, Father, Zara whispered. 1 year later, Empress Zara Valanthi stood before the Galactic Assembly. She was 20 years old now. Her father had passed peacefully in his sleep, finally free from illness. She wore her crown with humility, not pride. 1 year ago, she said to the thousands of assembled aliens, I stood at a summit and insulted a man I did not know. I called his people animals, primitives, worthless. The hall was silent. I was wrong. Not just factually wrong, morally wrong, spiritually wrong. I was a monster wearing a princess mask. She looked at Marcus, who stood in the human section. That man taught me something with his silence. He taught me that words are easy. Anyone can speak. But staying silent when you have every right to scream, walking away when you have every right to fight, forgiving when you have every right to hate, her voice filled with emotion. That is power. True power. Human power. She descended from the podium. She walked to Marcus. The entire galaxy watched. She bowed her head to him. Thank you, she said, for your silence, for your words, for saving my people when we did not deserve saving. Marcus looked at her for a long moment. Then, he did something that shocked everyone. He bowed back. Thank you, he said, for having the courage to change. That is the rarest thing in the universe. Later that night, Zara found Marcus standing alone on a balcony. Can I ask you something? She said. Anything. That day at the summit, when I insulted you, when I called you an animal. She hesitated. What were you thinking? What stopped you from fighting back? Marcus was quiet for a moment. Then he spoke. My grandmother taught me something when I was a child. She said, Marcus, the world will try to make you angry. People will insult you, hurt you, try to make you become like them. He turned to face Zara. She said, when that happens, do not fight, do not scream, just walk away. Because the moment you react with anger, they win. They have changed you. They have stolen your peace. And Eviston, his eyes reflected the stars. So when you called me an animal, I thought of my grandmother, and I decided that you would not steal my peace. You would not change who I am. Zara felt tears forming again. Your grandmother was wise. She was human. Marcus smiled. That is our secret, princess. We are not the strongest species, not the oldest, not the smartest, but we are patient. We endure, and we never let anyone steal our souls. He looked up at the infinite stars. The galaxy has ruled by force for millions of years. Fear, weapons, threats, but force fades. Empires fall. Weapons break. He turned to her one final time. Do you know what never breaks? Zara shook her head. Marcus placed his hand over his heart. The dignity of someone who refuses to be broken. The galaxy learned a new lesson that year. They had seen species with bigger ships, faster technology, more powerful weapons. Were powerful weapons. But they had never seen anything like humans. A species that could win wars with silence. A species that could conquer hatred with patience. A species that could change the galaxy, not by screaming the loudest, but by standing the tallest. In the years that followed, historians would write about the Great Silence, about the princess who knelt in the snow, about the man who walked away, and they would always end with the same words. When the universe tried to make humanity angry, they simply walked away. And in that walk, they conquered everything. The measure of a species is not how they treat those who bow to them. It is how they respond to those who try to break them. Humanity responded with silence, and that silence echoed across eternity. Galactic Historical Archives, year 3847.